Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Hey. Yes, we are. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull a Yui, park in front of the music store with the red neon light, like and subscribe, hit the alert, have your own podcast right here in our beautiful studio. Dave will tell you how. Come on the show with me. You know, I got a list. It's getting bigger every day, so make sure you show up. Brand new friend today, Jody Talevi. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
I got it right. Okay. Never met you before? Well, actually, that's not true. I met you a few minutes ago.
Yes.
I don't know thing one, so this is going to be fun because I like it when I don't know the answers.
Okay.
I don't already know the answers. Songwriter. How do you know Dave? Because Dave set this up.
Well, I'm actually originally from Portland.
Oh, okay. Well, that helps.
So I know him through that. And then I've known Ed Macenti forever.
Oh, okay.
Knew each other here in Connecticut and California. And
oh, cool.
We've written stuff together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
All right. That's cool. So what are you doing lately, music-wise, that you want to tell us about that might be timely? You know, as in anything you want to promote that you're doing that's coming up or anything like that? Or
Well, I'm constantly writing new songs with many different collaborators.
Oh, cool.
A big change happened a couple years ago during COVID. I took a music licensing course, all Zoom, and learned about all the legal stuff that I didn't know.
Okay.
Who to send stuff to, how to send it, who makes the choices,
Yeah.
and all of the technical information that you have to include.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wonderful course. I learned a lot, but realized it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I have got my first agreement for a 1-year exclusive contract for one song. What that really means is that they have the song for a year. I can chop it, but nobody else can.
Okay.
And hopefully they are going to find a home for it.
Who they?
This is called Imaginary Friends. It's a sync agency out of California.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's what you do. You just try to find a sync agency for your stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then they pitch it to whoever.
Right.
Whoever they think. So they must have a...
They have a connection with the Young and the Restless, so that's what the choice was, and hopefully a scene will happen.
Yeah.
What I have realized, it's better to have representation than just be a songwriter trying to...
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Especially now. Everybody's trying to do something, right?
Yep.
That's cool. Wow. So that's a new thing. So now, but you've been writing songs forever.
Yes. Probably about 30 years.
Wow. All right. Well, take us back to the beginning. How does it all start in Portland?
So my first experience with rock and roll, this is a very funny story.
Don't tell me it was Ed Macenti.
No. It was the 70s, and my older brother, who was a musician also, he had borrowed a 8-track from an older friend of ours, family friend. Heard it for the first time and was like, what is this? I had to go down in my parents' station wagon and turn on the 8-track, and it was House of the Holies, Led Zeppelin.
Sure, yeah.
And that was just...
Yeah.
From that minute on, it was like, what is this?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too.
And then I didn't really start playing till quite a bit later. I started playing guitar at 18.
Okay.
My brother started teaching me. Then he ended up moving to California. So I studied guitar, piano, voice, and 10 years later, one day woke up and decided to go to Los Angeles to go to the Guitar Institute.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you're just like, all right, I'm going to do this for real.
Yeah, I'm crazy enough to do it for real.
Hey, why not?
Ed was the first person from Connecticut that took me to the Rainbow.
Oh, boy.
One of the first nights I got there.
Oh, boy. So did you know him from back here.
Yes.
Back then.
Yes.
And you said he's out there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So then he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Here's what we do.
Yeah. So that was a crazy experience.
I bet.
Ended up moving back to Connecticut. Actually, I'll tell you what really changed my songwriting. In the beginning, I was very much a rock guitar player, and that's all I really knew. And in California, a friend of mine was doing an animated feature, and she asked me to write some songs. So it was the first time I ever wrote from a character, a different type of music.
Yeah.
So
and you had been writing before then,
right,
on your own.
Yes.
Okay.
And so that really changed everything because I realized, well, this was probably more important for me to do. And so now, I mean, I still write all different kinds of music.
Wow.
Kid songs up to rock tunes.
So you don't limit yourself to just rock and roll. What did you think you were going to do at the Musicians Institute?
Of course, being an all-girl band.
Oh, okay.
With
all
big
right.
hair and hot pink Stratocaster.
I got you. Yeah, so you were just like, all right, I want to find out. Did you find out what? Did they help you? Did you find out what you needed to know? That you had the idea of like, I need to go and kind of get over some sort of hump as a player.
Actually, I realized then that for me, it was going to be more about writing songs.
Okay.
That's.
Did you get intimidated by all the shredders? Or
no, I mean, I loved playing rock guitar and lead. I think maybe I should have spent more time on chord writing and things like that. But it was more like, well, I was 32 at the point, and I'm like, well,
wow,
where do we go from here? So
yeah,
that's kind of, and that's just how it.
So it was worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So even if you didn't like stay on the initial path that you thought, it clarified for you. Like,
yeah,
okay, all right, well, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's something, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, cool. So then you writing for your friend's thing, and you're like, oh, hey, there's more to this than writing rock and roll tunes.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And I do wish I had paid a little more attention. There was a gentleman there that knew a lot more about what would become the sync world, but I guess I not really ready to understand it.
Okay. Yeah.
So moved back here. I continued writing. Worked with a couple different pockets of people. Ed being one of them.
Okay.
And working a full-time job doing graphics, which really takes a lot of time, and ended up getting laid off from that job, and then turn around and COVID hits.
Oh wow.
And
you just said, I'm doing this now. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's what COVID did for some people, right? You know what I mean? You start to realize, like, okay, what do I really want to do, or now is a chance to take a different turn, I guess.
It is. It's. I didn't intend to not have a full-time job till 65-ish, but this is where I landed. So
yeah.
So I'm writing a lot of different songs. It's still hard, especially one of the big pieces that I do in the song is I usually am putting all the parts together and making sure who the musicians are that I'm getting.
Okay.
I do a lot of the split sheets and registering the songs.
Oh, okay.
Do the artwork for it.
Oh, wow.
But it can be, it's as my dear friend Joan, who does these Music Woman magazines, says, it's like herding kittens.
What does that mean?
Like, have you ever tried to grab a bunch of kittens? Herding them, and you're like, you grab one and the other one goes the other way.
Yeah,
That's what musicians are like, right?
I've never been around more than one cat at a time, so I don't know what that means. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I see what you mean.
That's what it means.
Yeah. Well, I know the feeling. Yeah. I did a session last night that was like that, and just like trying to get momentum together, and it just in 50 different directions at once.
Right.
Okay. whatever. Figure it out. When did you decide that, when did you discover that you could write songs? Because a lot of people just, they just play other people's songs and that's good enough. Like, when did you discover, why did you feel like, oh, hey, I could do this. I could write and create? Because not everybody can do that.
Well, my brother, Mitch, the guitar player, he had inspired me. He said, yeah, anybody can, you just do it.
Oh, okay.
I got to say, the first ones were pretty horrible. But I think, like I said, when I started writing for the animated feature of the 2 songs, where I really had to read the script, figure out the character, figure out the point of view, that just really changed. So I do spend a lot of time trying to, I kind of create a situation for every song.
Yeah, right.
That's what I try to do.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's cool. So rather than always from your point of view, that writing for that thing gave you the perspective of.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wonder what would have happened if you didn't. Well, you were writing songs before that. If you didn't do that, you'd just still be writing about yourself endlessly, maybe, right? You know what I mean?
I say, bad boys and bad choices.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Let's leave Ed out of this or whatever. I have no idea. What has been your furthest from you? Like, what character did you write in? What was the biggest stretch? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, actually, this song I wrote probably 26 years ago. It's a Vietnam song, and it's from a Vietnam vet's point of view.
Okay.
It's actually just got picked up to be in a movie in Connecticut, but no pay, but at least it's something. And the gentleman, how I connected with that was on Facebook. I'm Facebook friends with a movie. He's a director, producer. He does all of it. And he talked about the Vietnam song. So I reached out to him and I said, I have this song. And he liked it.
Hey.
Male singer, acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And then he dropped out of the project, but he connected me to the guy that's still working on it.
Okay.
And this gentleman's actually singing it out in his duo.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool.
Wow. So no one would ever imagine that, like, a woman wrote this song.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
That's pretty cool. You had already, I lost for a second. You had already written that song for no reason, or you wrote it for that project?
Well, I had 3 older brothers that were becoming of age during that time.
Right.
So it was always something that was on my mind.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing, this was back in Connecticut, a gentleman that worked at one of the schools. He was a janitor or a custodian, and he had gone to get a bank loan, and it came out that he'd come home from Vietnam and was robbed a bank or something.
Whoa.
But all of the parents and the students in the community rallied for him.
Right.
So that was like, I remember reading that article.
Wow, that's wild.
It was something that I always wanted to write, because they got the Vietnam vets, however you felt about it, got treated pretty badly when they came home.
That's what they say, yeah.
So that's kind of where that one came from.
So the community kind of forgave or just understood from his perspective that he's not a danger moving forward to society or whatever, which is a desperate move at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the song called?
A Vietnam Blues.
Wow. That's cool. So somebody's out there playing it.
Yeah.
So you were saying before that you're not necessarily a performer.
Correct.
All right. What's that all about?
As best as I can sing, which I do sing most of the demos, even if they're for guy singers, but as best as I've tried, I really always sound like I'm 12.
Oh. Okay.
So that's why now everything that I do, I get really good singers.
Oh,
Guy singers, girl singers. different singers.
So when you say even performer, I thought you meant like you don't play gigs, but like you're not even like a performer.
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Wow, that's wild. Huh. And that just didn't stop. You were just like, well, I'm going to write. Did you imagine that you were just going to write for other people?
I would love to write for other people, or just my goal always was to get them in movies, TV, commercials, whatever. And in Connecticut, before I had any of this knowledge, literally I would send songs. If I made any little connection, send a song and literally just think I was throwing them against the wall.
Yeah, sure.
I did have a little bit of success in Connecticut. I've had, I think, 3 things that were in Connecticut-based productions.
Okay.
Kind of more connections that I had made. So I guess that's what they do call that. It was synced, but, no contracts, no money. So.
Huh. Wow, that's interesting. So you discovered, like you say, out there in California, that you can write from, that's your skill, is different perspectives.
Yeah.
And characters.
Yep.
And thought, okay, this is my need. Wow. Is there such a job title? You're just making it up.
Yeah.
Songwriter.
Yeah, and well, when you see, they'll send you, say like any kind of the agency that would be looking for music, which it could be a film company, it could be a sync agency. There's
sure.
What I've learned from all these courses that I've taken, and all the Zooms and the clubhouses that I've listened in for the past 3 years.
Sure.
There's a million different ways, and it's not all one way.
Gotcha.
So they'll send you a brief, and it's usually a description of what they're looking for, what style of music, what time period, vocals, female, male, and then they'll usually send you reference tracks. And the one thing you do not want to do is send something that does not fit that.
Okay.
Because they get so many requests, they'll kind of like blackball you. So like
and they'll just go, okay, they don't get it. They're sending us the wrong stuff. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because they're so specific on what they're looking for.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Rather than, well, maybe they're at the same time searching for stuff that already exists that they can license. Is this, I guess maybe for the productions, is it for their budget, is it less expensive to get a custom written song than to license something? Who knows?
It's all different. The other thing
Right.
too is when they want certain songs, sometimes they just can't afford them. So they'll say, we're looking for something similar
Like
to this.
Wow.
So.
Wow. That's wild. That's pretty wild. That's a strange niche, huh?
It's getting more and more popular. Like I said, do I wish I knew about this 10 years ago.
Yeah,
but,
right.
it is what it is. So
Yeah. Is there a way to, it sounds like, can you gain some kind of momentum, or is it just like you play something and then it's like one and done, or do they remember you? Like, can you get, like,
yeah.
if you have a couple of good placements, does that helps you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I actually did connect right after my class with an attorney from California, and he worked very diligent on trying to get me a publishing deal, which would have been money up front to write songs.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they wanted to see more financial success. They were like, "What are your numbers looking like?"
So you see that could be the next step.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Now, do you build a library? Do you stockpile songs?
Yes. Oh, yes. I have probably about 70 that are done right now. I'm seeing a lot of the older ones were probably, not up to par. There's a lot of different things they look for, which I would have never known, like an edit point. I'm like, what is an edit point?
Yeah, sure.
It means when the editor is looking for a little tiny clip of music, you better have a space in between where it ends what you're saying, and not even vocally, musically.
Wow.
Which it's like, it's still a very hard concept.
So you're writing to picture sometimes.
You can do that. I haven't done that recently, but yes, a lot of times if you can get a write to picture, that's even better.
Wow. So how do you know what the beat of the dialogue is? How do you know what the cadence of the dialogue is that you're just blind? You're just hoping.
Maybe after you have a relationship with the person, sometimes you can get a listen to it. Like on the smaller projects, like an indie film, you might be able to get that opportunity to see the scene and go from there.
Wow.
But another big thing that one of the supervisors, and I swear she was speaking directly to me, was stop singing over my dialogue.
Wow. Yeah.
So it made me realize that I needed to step back. I'm a lyrics and melody and storytelling is what I do best.
Sure.
So I've made a concerted effort to do less of that.
Wow. That's crazy. So it's almost like not standalone songs with a strict narrative, but things that suggest or complement the on-screen.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
What a crazy thing.
And you can't compete. Like,
Right. You can't, because then people start thinking about something other than it has to support the dialogue or the narrative or the dialogue.
because you're really secondary. The music is secondary.
Right.
And that's the hard part when you're used to like guitar players that want to play through the whole song.
Sure.
And with drummers that are on top of everything.
Sure.
It's like you have to really look at it a different way.
Do you do you view that as just a challenge that's I'm trying to think of the word. Like, is that discouraging or is that encouraging to you? Are you just like, okay, this is another way to think about it, another way to figure this out? Well, you're still in it, so you must be.
I love the fact because
you rise to the challenge of trying to learn what they want and how to do this.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And negative space to me is equally as important as any note that you're playing, and that
Sure.
is really big for me.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to wrap your brain around when you're used to playing so much
Sure.
that how can it be as important? But it is.
So it's like the ultimate supporting role, kind of, in a
Yeah.
way. Like you have to learn. Yeah. Wow. That's wild. That's wild. So you think that this new agent is going to help you?
I hope so.
Get some momentum.
I had submitted a Christmas song for that specific team, and I'm not a big fan of the Jingle Bells, the bells and the Christmas sounds,
Yeah, sure.
but everybody else is.
Yeah.
So is Hallmark.
Sure.
So that's what they said back to me. They said, your song's got great elements. It's all real musicians, but it doesn't sound like Christmas from the get-go. So what
you just overdub sleigh bells.
Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to, we started working on it. We realized we're going to have to move the time up, push the song forward and have maybe some stuff in it. And that'll just be a different version.
Yeah, right.
The original.
The sleigh bell version.
Right. And I will, my plan is to reach out to him once that's done and say, hey, you really like the song. Can we did some work on it. Can I resubmit it to you?
Right. And it's got the loudest sleigh bells in recorded history. That's funny.
So, so you kind of got to be careful how you do that. And luckily that gentleman was my mentor in the class. So I knew him.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah.
So you didn't take it personally. You just,
right.
Okay. I understand that.
Yep.
All right. What is your, I don't care. I just think it's funny. Like, what's your aversion to Christmassy sounding sleigh bell music? You're just like, it's played, it's just overdone?
Yes. Yeah. And it's hokey.
Yeah.
And, but that's what they ask for, that over and over, like Christmas is huge in sync because there's so many Christmas movies. And so they, that's like a prerequisite. Like you hear it in the
So you can't buck that trend. Like you can't be like no one has the nerve to say we're gonna have songs that don't have freaking
Right.
sleigh bells and clip clop. That's funny.
But I will, I will keep my original version because our version is a jazzier, old style. I love doing vintage style music, and that's what this song is. So I will keep that version. Another big, huge thing that you would never think is that you can have 10 different versions of one song.
Yeah, right.
And that, like I told you, I do a lot of listening sessions and a lot of Zooms where professionals are speaking, that do this all the time. And they said, and this I'm actually going to do on a new song I'm working on. We're going to have one with probably a female singer and just piano, and then we're going to do a rock version with a male singer.
Why not?
Because they're saying we want you. It's better if you have more options because they might. I love that song, but I need a male singer.
Wow.
And then you already have it. So
yeah. So you are building a library in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You start to realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So how often do you, like, let's say you have songs that you have written that you haven't used for anything, but they're in your head or you have them. And you can just maybe modify, like when there's somebody's asking for something, you don't tell them, but you just go, oh, I have one that's kind of like that. And you just modify all the time. Rather than start from scratch.
Well, sometimes I do that. I wish I had like some of the people that do sync, they have full on studios that they can do it in an hour.
Oh, okay.
I work in different studios. I also tend to really want to use real musicians. So I kind of figured that that's not going to be me that can do that in an hour.
Okay.
But I have stacks at home of songs that I could change the person. I definitely would do that, but it ends up taking, even with everyone being in the room, which is a luxury at this point.
Yeah.
Now with COVID, like some of the people are out of the country, let alone in different parts of the state.
Right.
What I found is the hardest thing is I love being in the room working with a guitar player, piano player.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Let's try that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get where it's like you hand it off to the next person and they just hand you something back, and that's kind of what you're stuck with. So.
Okay. I see. Say that again.
So the thing of not being rehearsing in the room with somebody, spending time on working and really creating the song and let's try this, let's try that.
Yep.
Or on the other case of saying, hey, I've written this lyrics and melody line. It's in this style. Can you put a piano part down to it? And then they send you something, but it's not really exactly what you wanted.
So you want more input, the more people involved.
Yes, yeah.
So you can, wow.
Yeah. I like the interaction is really the best thing.
And that's where you draw the most inspiration from that.
Yeah.
Rather than one person at home in their studio just churning it out.
Right.
Do you think that in the end, that gives you an advantage in some way? Like, do people know the difference?
Well,
I would hope that they would. Because I'm old too. I shouldn't say too, but no, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Real musicians,
Right.
I think there's so much controversy that's going to be coming up with fake music and the other issue too is I use a violin player that is unbelievable.
Wow.
Yes, have I been known to use the fake strings?
Sure.
But am I very conscious of using it how a string player would play it, not just like hitting the piano and having it down for an hour, you know?
Sure. You might be poised for a future AI backlash. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's
right?
That's what some of the stuff that's been we've listened to. A lot of what they...
Do you know Andy Gundel, who was here? AJ Gundel? He was here a few weeks ago. He, it's interesting. The conversation is similar. He was music supervisor for Guiding Light, or I can't remember what, but he does similar things. And that's his thing is he has a music library that he shops. That's his thing. And it's more quality. Like his client list is because he's like, eventually, people are going to realize that. So it's the same type of thing.
That's what I think, that eventually they're going to say, well, that doesn't have any feeling in it. It's
I hope
not
so.
real.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because you have people that can think that they can create a whole orchestra, but they haven't spent the years
arranging
and
is
years
a real thing.
And years.
Right.
And one of the last sessions I listened to was them talking about the implications of AI and with licensing it, and how one group said we're basically like, if we think it's AI or think it's fake, we're going to pass on it.
Oh, okay. So there already is like a preemptive backlash in a way.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It is.
I mean, I don't want to count chickens before they hatch, but it seems like from last time I checked, there's a tentative agreement with the writer's strike, and that's kind of a little blow against AI.
Right.
Maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a, like you say, there's some people that are already planting the flag and going, we're not going to accept AI.
Right.
I mean, don't you think we're going to have to, though? I mean, some people are going to have to start turning the tide before it turns too far.
Right.
Right?
Well, I always say, didn't you see Terminator? It doesn't end well.
Right. Right.
Where will it end? If it starts in music and then writing movies and then writing, where will it end?
It's a whole other conversation. I don't know. I think about this all the time. Like, you want to say that the majority of people in the mainstream don't know the difference. But I think they kind of do, though. Maybe not the vast majority, but I think don't you think that people pay more attention to quality in a way? There's a little bit more of a backlash.
Yeah.
Like I found that being basically a barroom musician, which is what I spent most of my time doing. And, you're playing and there's TVs on and nobody cares and you're playing covers and you're doing your thing. And then when there was kind of COVID interruption, it's not like it's perfect now, but a lot of people that I know, now they're playing breweries in duos and trios.
Right.
And people seem to be, at least temporarily, they're like, they came out of the lockdown or, out of that period with more of an appreciation and a readiness for quality.
Right.
Because they took it for granted. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
No, I think so.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, and maybe AI, there's going to be enough of a rejection. I mean, I'm sure there'll always be low budget or, productions that will only, but those would be trash. They're just going to be.
You wonder, because a lot of, like, I know the hip hop music, and that is all fake music.
Sure.
No, I mean, not all of it, but
sure.
Then I don't know where the line is going to be drawn, because I do have some fake elements in some of the songs.
Sure.
And then I'm worried now is that going to get completely rejected because of it? I don't know.
Well, I guess only time will tell.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, crazy. It's crazy. Oh, where do you record? Usually around?
Well, I do. Avid Studios in Wallingford is Doug Farrar. Do you know Doug?
No. Wow.
I record
Cool.
a lot there.
It's my hometown.
Oh, it is?
Wallingford, yeah.
He actually, Doug developed Real Traps. We're sound traps.
I used to work at Real Traps. Oh, all right. Okay. I do know Doug. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, when he
Maybe I met you there.
When I started out, me and Dave Lavosi used to work there.
Okay.
I made traps.
Yes.
I might have made that trap. There was a while. I forget what they were called, but it was like, oh man, we got to make 50 whatever the models were called.
Right.
The frame.
Yeah.
And I made the real traps. Oh, that's funny.
And then he sold it to one of the guys that worked there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't work there long, but
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. Just banging them out.
Yeah, so that's one of the studios I work with
Cool.
a lot of actually another guy, Tyler Ferguson, he's in Berlin. I've been starting to work
Where I
at
live now.
Oh, too funny.
Yep.
We're working with him. Then like my brother's studio in California, we still work on stuff. So it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a home studio, but it is only for practice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's a whole other beast.
And who are some of your players that you use to build my guests list?
Okay, let me think.
Like who do you call
on? No, who that you would know.
Or even if I don't know,
Well, my nephew Nick Talevi, he's going to be singing the rock version of that new song.
Yeah.
Tyler's doing guitars. Let me see. Mitch does a lot of the guitar work. I can't think of anybody.
That's all right. If you do, give a shout out as we
Okay.
go. That's cool. So what do you got? You have sessions booked now. You got something cooking right now, or?
Me and Doug have a jazzy tune that we're working on that I connected with. Actually, Ed's connected me with his piano player, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
the famous Dan. The famous
is
Dan.
He here?
He's in the other room.
Oh,
yeah,
that's too funny. I'll have to meet. I haven't met him yet.
Really?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's awesome.
So he's gonna work on
He's
a
the creepy
tune.
looking dude that you walk by to get here. Just kidding.
He's the guy that said your students downstairs.
Oh, that's him. Oh, that's too
him?
funny.
Yeah,
that's
no,
so
he's great.
funny.
Yeah.
So that's going to be like a jazzy tune that we'll probably do a couple versions, maybe with just piano and voice, and then more like a trio.
Yeah, right.
The song that they requested for the Young and the Restless was a trio. It was a Zoom that I was listening on. Does anybody have any trio music? And so me and Doug had a song, sent it to them, and they said yes. It was my first yes.
Hey, that's cool.
My first recent yes. So it was pretty exciting.
That's cool. That's pretty cool.
And so I'm working on that, working on a couple songs with Tyler. I have like stacks of different songs at home. I also did lyrics for some children's songs. And we actually have 22,000 YouTube hits on one of the videos.
Hey, that's cool.
We haven't monetized it in any way.
Well,
We don't know
us
how it
neither.
happened.
Yeah, we don't either. I don't either. I guess that's what. Look, if you hit 22,000 and you're not at the magic number, then we're nowhere. We're not even close to near it. to that.
So
Monetizing.
Say what?
right.
100,000 is monetizing.
Oh, okay.
Right,
100,000.
I've got a couple more that we're gonna work on with that writing team. I've learned to have my projects going and because everyone has lives and children and jobs.
I don't have children. I don't have a job.
What do you play again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I try to keep things moving along and do sessions. And right now we're waiting on Dan. He's going to be working on a piano part. And
he can do anything.
he was excited because it is jazz based. So,
Oh yeah, no. He'll,
and then I think I'm going to recruit if she will, Alta de Champlain.
I don't know who that is. You know who that is?
Did you remember Ray de Champlain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ray, it's Ray's a daughter-in-law. She's got a beautiful voice.
Okay.
So that's what we're working
Just
on.
trying to get it all together.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's pretty wild. Who are some of your? Do you have? Like songwriting inspirations or heroes?
Well, I think through my formative years, I was very much into progressive rock.
Okay.
Yes, Genesis,
Sure.
Styx, Kansas, all
Sure.
that stuff.
Sure.
But actually, as I've gotten older, I really like writing minor, dark, bluesy stuff. So, yeah. And then, of course, I always love awesome guitar players.
Yeah. That's cool. Cool. You want to tell us about what you got here?
Sure. The other thing I do for my paying job is I'm a graphic designer.
Okay.
And what I have here
And
is...
how did that all start?
that I've been doing since I went to school for that when I came back from California.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for a long time.
Okay.
I connected with... actually, my dear friends were on a cruise, and they met this wonderful jazz diva from Florida. And she reached out. We had connected. She reached out for a graphic designer for her magazines. And now this will be, hopefully, if she gets funding, will be on year number 5. So that's what we're looking to do.
Cool.
And she does Music Woman and Music Man magazines.
Okay.
And
Based out of where?
she was out of South Florida, but now she's recently moved to, I think she's in Atlanta right now.
Okay.
And then I do CD covers, DVD covers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then also I'm still have a contract for an educational agency. So
Oh, wow.
I'll...
What's that all about? I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, there's it's actually for an early childhood parents reading group, and it's sessions that they do with parents. So it'll be all the documents for that.
One of the magazines, Jody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get a look at those.
Yeah, just
Oh,
so for the camera.
Yeah, there you go.
That.
Yeah,
Nice.
Music Woman magazine. Is that?
Music
Are you
Woman.
on the cover? And,
No.
And if you, then why not? Cool.
And then this is a lady that I met through Joan. I did the CD cover, and she actually did one of my songs. So that was pretty cool. And then this is my probably the highlight of my career. I connected and did Carly Simon's live at Grand Central.
Wow.
artwork. So
Hey, that's cool.
yeah. So
Wow.
I mean,
How'd you manage that?
I was
pretty cool.
with a group that was supposed to be getting a animated television show, and it was one of through connections with that.
Okay. And you're like, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was like,
So how does that? What do they tell you?
well, I worked very closely with the guy that manages her business stuff.
Okay.
So they sent me the photos. They sent. He actually was very big on. He knew what he wanted. So
Okay.
I just worked with him. They'd send me the text. I had to do a lot of altering on the photos. And how I got this job was the gentleman that he normally used said, that photo is not good enough quality. I can't work with it. So when he met me, I said to him, like, these photos, what Joan says, Joan is the jazz lady.
Yeah.
When I'm writing and doing articles and photos from older jazz greats, she says to me, you are not getting a better photo. They're dead.
Yeah, right.
So suck it up and do what you can.
I got you.
And
So then you learned to just work with what you got.
that's what I did. So we had to do a lot of editing on it, but because it was actually a photograph from a film slide.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
and then, like I said, I worked directly with the gentleman. We did a lot of Zooms together.
Wow.
He'd send me all the text. I'd load it in, and then, so it was great.
That's pretty cool. When did that come out?
Last January.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. That's pretty wild. Could you ever have imagined that? I'm going to do a Carly Simon album cover.
Yeah, I know.
Like, whoever would've- That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, who would have thought that?
Yeah. Wow.
But if I hear one more punk kid say, who's Carly Simon?
Oh, really? Well, that's all right.
I was interviewed for a job, and I'm like, oh, I did Carly Simon's CD. Oh, who's Carly Simon?
Oh, man. Well, it's going to happen the older we get.
I said, ask your mother.
Yeah. Ask your mom. Yeah. That happens all the time. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's kind of wild. All right, we're getting kind of close. to the end. Is there anything that you want to add or talk about that we did not talk about thus far?
I don't think so.
Are you sure? Okay. All right. Well, I have these kind of wacky wrap-up questions that kind of, I don't know, I guess covered something or other. Desert Island albums, like a handful, maybe up to 5 albums that you would take with you if you were, shipwrecked on an island and you could only listen to those. Do you have a few?
Chris Cornell
Carly
solo.
Simon, live in New York. Whatever.
Well, Chris
Whoever
Cornell.
that is. Whoever.
Yeah, right. Who's that?
Yeah.
Chris Cornell, one of my favorite all-time.
Sure.
His solo album.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't know the names since CDs and things. I don't know a lot of the names of. So any Breaking Benjamin.
Oh wow.
Love Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Who else?
Kind of covers.
Probably
a lot,
the Live Genesis, the old Live Genesis.
Wow.
So
like what?
I think
Peter
it was,
Gabriel.
Oh, I love Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny.
I think it was what was the name of that live album from?
What, Seconds Out?
Yes.
Really?
Was it Seconds Out?
I think so.
Yeah.
My my wife, my brother-in-law, is like the hugest Genesis fan that ever existed. He collects vintage keys too. He has a Mellotron that belonged to somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. When I first started dating my wife, I met him and found out about that. And he, restores synths and everything. I go, "You have a Mellotron?" He's like, "What, are you kidding me?" And then a few years went by and he scored one. So,
wow.
But anyway, he is. I'm not a huge. I like Genesis.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know chapter and verse.
Yeah.
There was a time where I could play 3 sides live, the entire thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is hardcore, and so my wife, growing up in that house, she like the other day we were watching YouTube, and there was like I don't even know but it was Peter Gabriel with the bass drum and comes out with the dripping face. My wife knows every single note of every Genesis thing from.
Really?
Yeah, it's so funny because I'm just like, I don't know any of this, and she knows she's like, this is my entire childhood is this stuff.
Wow.
So it's kind of funny. It's unusual.
I'm not after the Abacab came out.
Sure. I can imagine that.
But anything earlier was just incredible.
Peter Gabriel was just here. Did you see him?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not.
I saw a lot of people were there. A lot of friends, Facebook friends were
Nice.
there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I just think it's funny that my wife, the last person you would expect, knows every Genesis
Wow.
thing. It's kind of funny. That's wild. All right, so a Genesis record. What else?
For records?
Yeah.
Wow, let me think. I love Disturbed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I love the band Red.
I don't know them.
Red is as my nephew just said, it's Breaking Benjamin with a symphony.
Oh, okay.
So it's
okay.
in that genre.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
I love the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Can't go wrong with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Cool. Desert island food.
all right. Being an Italian girl, pizza,
Sure.
wine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why
That is
not?
a food group.
Yeah. I guess technically, yeah.
Red or white?
Yeah.
Both.
Would you want to have the New Haven pizza conversation? Like what Pepe's, Sally's, Modern. Everybody's got a.
Well, I will tell if I do like any of the New Haven.
Sure.
I do like Pepe's, but my dear friend, who is non-Italian,
Okay.
was at an event, and she's trying to describe to me this big fat puffy pizza they served, and she's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you had Sicilian pizza."
Oh yeah, sure.
Because she's like, "What is this?"
Yeah, that's funny.
So we have a Pepe's right near me.
Really?
I live in Hartford. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
They're branching out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing when I was a kid growing up in Wallingford, was go down to New Haven and wait in line.
Right.
That was the thing. And I'm kind of team Sally's, I found out.
You are?
You know what? I was at a party. I'm sure I've told this story one time, but I finally settled it for myself one time. I was at a party where they were both.
Really?
Yeah, that was the thing. And I just said, you know what? Let's end this right now because it's hard to store in your memory.
Right.
And I ate a slice, and that was when.
Was it a blind taste test?
I don't remember. Actually,
Okay.
I don't remember. I don't remember that. Actually, that's a good question. But I think I was inclined to be Pepe's because I knew that better. But that was the day I decided I liked. But not by much. Not by much. It wasn't like, you know. I mean, when you're in that zone, you're in the zone. But yeah, I decided from that day on that I was Team Sally's. But you know, whatever. Everybody. I don't get modern. Like my sister is all about modern, and I'm like,
I've never been to modern.
It's good.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, no. But
Yeah.
that's what's beautiful about pizza. Like everybody's got their
It's so
own.
different, yeah.
So different, yeah.
Yep.
I like Sicilian sometimes on purpose. There's a place I live up on the Pike that does really good. Every once in a while, I'll just freak out and get one of those. I like Greek pie sometimes. It's different thing.
I love Greek.
Yeah, so you got to.
I'm also Greek too.
Yeah,
so.
okay, so you got to switch it up.
Yes.
You know, if you know what it is, you know.
Oh, it's very different.
It's different, but I like it. I like it. But yeah, that's funny. Is there any particular live show that you saw in your memory that changed your life? Can you think of something that might be interesting?
Wow.
You know,
God, there were so many
other than
shows
Ed
back in the
Masenti
day.
at the whiskey and whatever.
Oh, those were the
in
days.
1980, whatever. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I was trying to think of what shows recently have I even seen. The last show I saw was Steve Vai down in New Haven.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was awesome.
Yeah. I would imagine. I don't even mean, I mean like.
I'm trying to think,
okay.
of. I'm trying to think when I first started going to concerts.
Yeah, right.
I've seen Yes quite a few times.
Okay.
So I would say Steve Howe was one of my favorite all-time guitar players.
Sure.
So that could have been.
Yeah, how wrong can you go?
No, right.
Yeah. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, well, maybe I should ask people this. This might be another question. Remind me, what was your first concert? What was the first one?
I think it was Chicago.
Really? Yeah. At Oakdale.
It was in New Haven,
Oh,
I
really?
think.
Okay. All right.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, that might be a new question. Like the first show. The first concert you ever saw. Mine was, I saw my parents took me to the New Haven Coliseum to see the Bee Gees in the Saturday Night Fever in the whole thing. It was like the center of the universe. It was like the biggest show in the world. You know what I mean?
It was probably really good though.
It was really, from what I recall. There were lasers and there was pyro and it was a big deal. It was that thing where Saturday Night Fever soundtrack was the biggest thing.
Right.
And I'm sure you've been to shows like this where you actually feel like you're at the center of the universe in that moment. You're like, oh, this is, it's happening right now. And you're right there. It was a big deal.
Wow.
My parents took me. And, but then I think the first concert I went on my own with like my friends was Cheap Trick. Still my favorite rock and roll band, with UFO open at the New Haven Coliseum a couple years later. And I was like, okay, now I'm a grown up. I'm going to the rock and roll show. It's funny.
Oh, those are the good old days.
Yeah, right?
I live in Hartford and I still have to get dragged to get out of the house to go to a concert.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear you.
I was never a disco fan, but
I didn't have a choice. I mean, I was the age. I didn't know any better.
You were.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing the Bee Gees on somebody's couch, like a talk show, and a cappella, the three of them were singing together.
Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
it was like, wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they had a whole thing long before that.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Yeah. Now there's only one the Bee Gee. There's one. There's only Barry Gibb is alive. There's only one. The Bee Gee.
Is he the tall guy, the tallest one?
He's the one that looks like God.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yes. You know what I'm saying? There's Robin with the clean shaven.
Yeah.
And then there's Morris or Maurice, I don't know, the other one, and then Barry's always in the middle.
Right.
He's the one that looks like God.
Yes.
You know. So. But yeah, imagine that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. Well, we're kind of getting close. I mean, that could be it. It could be. If you have anything that you want to add. So we're gonna talk about what we're gonna link. As we're trying to figure out, I had a guest last week. We don't really we don't have the capability at the moment to put videos within this.
Yeah.
But we're gonna put links in the either in the description or the comments about. And you were saying you wanted to.
Great. I'll link. I'll send you the link for a playlist if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
I guess one more thing is I'm always looking for collaborators.
Hey.
So if people are interested, please hit me up.
Sure. Okay. You know where to find her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's kind of cool. All right. You want to go with that? You good? You have anything else you want to?
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for making me feel so comfortable. And this was really a lot of fun.
Well, wait till I pronounce your name wrong right now, and then we'll see how comfortable we are. Jody Talevi.
Correct.
Was here. She was here. She actually was here. That's cool. So tell me again how you know Dave, now that he's here.
Well, Dave's from Portland.
Right.
You're right. You live in Portland, right?
Yeah.
And
He is Portland.
He is. He's been a mainstay in Portland forever.
Yeah.
He knew my brothers, right?
Your brother played with me, Mitch. Steve played with me for years.
I thought so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Stephen is brother number 2.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So I don't know. We don't even get into the stories. I'm sure there are stories we don't want to know.
Well, I lived way out at Great Hill Lake, which is out Route 66.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
A long time.
Yeah, right. This is old school Portland talk. I don't know. I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't even know. Lake, whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
Which band was it that you and Stephen played in together?
Jason Smith.
Okay.
Jason Smith Quintet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve played with me. With Banner Lodge.
What did you say? Grayson Smith Quartet.
Jason Smith.
Jason Smith Quartet. That's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Dave, our boss here, played with Jody's brother.
Yep.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve Talevi. Yep. And
Out in where?
we did the resorts down in Moodus.
Okay, Moodus.
Banner Lodge and Frank
Yeah.
Davis, and tons of weddings.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right. Playing
We were the McWedding band.
out in the sticks, yeah. Now, you were telling me the story. Was it with her brother that one night after the gig you killed that guy that one time? Was that with her brother? I heard that story. No, I'm just kidding.
I've
Can
heard
you
some
imagine?
stories that are very scary that my father would tell me. So
Oh boy. Yeah.
I don't think it's anything I can say on tape. So.
You know what? How about that? Jody Talevi was here. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
We hope we hear your music everywhere,
That would be great.
Yeah, that would be great. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Come over the bridge and do your thing. Come here, be on the show with me. Have your own show. Do all of the above. And thank you, Jody, for being here. I appreciate it. Right?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
cool. All right, kids. Hey, I'm gonna play the theme again because it's so good. I felt like I ran out of. All right. So anyway, hey, come on the show with me. I have my list. I'm gonna get back to my list. So if I reach out to you in the last few weeks, reach out to me again and let's do this. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks a lot, kids. Drive safe. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.